Assalamu alaikum students, I am Sabeen Amjad. I am teaching you software testing. Today we will study unit testing, integration testing and system testing. This lecture is the revision of some concepts that you have already studied in your software quality engineering course. Let's have a look at the outline of our topic. Unit testing, integration testing, then we will have integration testing approaches which include Big Bang approach, top-down integration, bottom-up integration, bidirectional integration, and system integration. Then choosing the integration method. In this slide are the objectives of unit and integration testing. Unit testing objectives include to verify that the requirements are being met, to test the functional units in isolation, to make regression testing easier. Integration testing objectives include to find defects which may be in interfaces themselves or within the components or system. To verify whether the functional and non-functional behaviors of the system are as designed, specified, and working as per requirements. To prevent defects from escaping to higher test levels. Let's have a look at the definition of unit and unit testing. Unit. The smallest testable parts of an application are called units. Unit testing is a software development process in which units are individually and independently examined for proper operation. Unit testing is often automated, but it can also be done manually, usually performed by the programmer who writes the program unit. Unit testing is conducted in two phases, static unit testing and the second one is dynamic unit testing. Static unit testing is in which a programmer does not execute the unit. The code is reviewed by applying the techniques, inspection, and walkthroughs. Dynamic unit testing, in which a programmer executes the unit. Selection of test data is broadly based on the techniques like control flow testing, data flow testing, domain testing, functional program testing. The details of the dynamic unit testing techniques is in the next slide. Control flow testing or path testing. These techniques are based on selecting a set of test paths through the program. Pick enough paths to ensure that every source statement is executed at least once. Then data flow testing. In this technique, you select paths through the program's control flow in order to explore sequences of events related to the status of variables or data objects. It focuses on the points at which variables receive values and the points at which these values are used. Domain testing. In domain testing, we partition a domain into subdomains called equivalence classes and then test using values from each subdomain. Functional program testing. In functional testing, the system is tested against the functional requirements. This is an example of unit testing. In this slide, you can see two functions. Function A returns A if the value of A is even. It will return B if value of A is odd. Function B calls function A by passing different values in function parameters. Here you can see three unit test cases. Each test case has test case ID, description, input data, expected results, actual results, and its status, that is either pass or fail. In unit test case 1, values 2 and 3 are passed to function A. If condition block of function A will be executed and value 2 will be returned because the value of variable A is even. In unit test case 2, values 1 and 2 are passed to function A, else block of function A will be executed and the value 2 will be returned because the value of variable A is odd and the value of B will be returned in this case. In unit test case 3, values 2, 3 and 4 are passed to function B. Function A is called by passing values 2 and 3. If condition block of function A will be executed and the value 2 will be returned because value of variable A is even. Then again function A is called by passing values 2 and 4. Again, if condition block of function A will be executed and the value 4 will be returned because value of variable A is again even. Now consider the question, if only unit testing for function B is done, then the coverage of function A is 50%. Why? The answer is, in the test case 3, when function B is called, else part of function A will not be executed even once, so the coverage of function A is 50%. Now we will study integration testing. Integration testing the interaction between the modules and interaction with other systems is called integration testing. It starts when two of the product components are available. Integration testing means testing of interfaces. It ends when all component interfaces have been tested. The final round of integration involving all components is called final integration testing. Before moving towards the types of integration testing, we will study the types of interfaces and classifications of interfaces. Types of interfaces. There are two types of interfaces, internal interfaces and external interfaces. Internal interfaces are those that provide communication across two modules within a product and not exposed to customers. External interfaces are for third-party developers or other users outside the group. Nowadays, we frequently use APIs. APIs stand for Application Programming Interfaces in our product development. These APIs provide interfacing and there can be both internal and external APIs based on their interfacing. Internal APIs is an interface that enables access to a company's backend information and application functionality for use by the organization's developers. External or open API is an API designed for access by a larger population as well as web developers. This implies that an external API can be easily used by developers inside the organization and any other developer from the outside. Then we have function call or public functions. When you call a function, it works as an interface by passing values through parameters and returns results after processing. So this behaves as an internal interface. Then global variables. A global variable can be accessed by any function, so it behaves as an interface for function to access values. Then SDK is a set of tools that can be used to create and develop applications. The difference between APIs and SDK is that APIs are typically much lighter weight than SDKs since a full library is not needed to be integrated into your app or are native to the development platforms. APIs are useful when you only need one or two specific functions of an SDK and are not looking for a fully integrated experience. Interfaces available through scripting languages. Now interfaces are also available through scripting languages like JavaScript, jQuery, etc. All interactions between modules are not known and explained through interfaces. Some of the interfaces are documented and some are not. Classification of interfaces. According to this concept, there are two classifications of interfaces: explicit interfaces and implicit interfaces. Explicit interfaces are documented interfaces. Implicit interfaces known internally to software engineers but are not documented. Integration testing methodologies. To decide in what order the interfaces need to be tested, there are following methodologies. First one is Big Bang approach, then top-down integration, bottom-up integration, bidirectional integration, and system integration. First one is Big Bang integration. This is non-incremental approach. Big Bang integration testing is an integration testing strategy where all units are linked at once, resulting in a complete system. When this type of testing strategy is adopted, it is difficult to isolate any errors found because attention is not paid to verify the interfaces across individual units. In this picture, you can see different modules connecting at once and forming a system. Then top-down integration. This integration testing involves testing topmost component interfaces with other components in the same order as you navigate from top to bottom till you cover all the components. Then we have the definition of subsystem. If a set of components and their related interfaces can deliver functionality without expecting the presence of other components and their interfaces, then it is called a subsystem. In this slide, you can see the top-down integration strategy horizontally covered. There are 6 stages forming 4 integrations A, B, C, and D. Let's see what is taking place in every stage. Stage 1, unit tests of Module 11. Stage 2, integration test A of Module 11 integrated with Modules 9 and 10 developed in the current stage. Stage 3, integration test B of A integrated with Module 8 developed in the current stage. Stage 4, integration test C of B integrated with modules 6 and 7 developed in the current stage. Stage 5, integration test D of C integrated with modules 1 and 2 developed in the current stage. Then stage 6, system test of D integrated with modules 3, 4 and 5 developed in the current stage. Order of testing interfaces, for the example, vertically covered. In this slide, there are steps of vertical coverage of top-down integration. Please go through these stages and do the home task given in the next slide. This is your home task. Draw a diagram showing different stages and integration steps of vertical coverage of top-down integration, considering the modules in slide number 16. The description of these integration steps is in slide number 17. Then we have bottom-up integration. Components for a new product development become available starting from the bottom. In bottom-up testing, the order of testing is reversed. The lowest level modules are tested first, with the main module tested last. These lower level units are frequently referred to as utility modules. In the start of a project, you develop different functions. Then to implement a functionality, you call different functions. In this way, you will create modules and ultimately the whole project. This is bottom-up strategy. Bottom-up integration example. In this slide, you can see the example of bottom-up integration strategy. There are 4 stages forming 2 integrations A and B. Let's see what is taking place in every stage. Stage 1, unit tests of modules 1 to 7. Stage 2, integration test A of modules 1 and 2, developed and tested in stage 1 and integrated with module 8, developed in the current stage. Stage 3, two separate integration tests B on module 3, 4, 5 and 8, integrated with module 9 and integration test C for module 6 and 7, integrated with module 10. Then stage 4, system test is performed after B and C have been integrated with module 11, developed in the current stage. Bidirectional integration. It is a combination of the top-down and bottom-up integration approaches used together to drive integration steps. This bidirectional approach is also called sandwich integration. A target layer is defined in the middle of the program and testing is carried out from the top and bottom layers to converge at this target layer. However, it can be more complex to plan and selecting the best target layer can be difficult. It is performed initially with the use of stubs and drivers. Stubs and drivers are software replacement simulators required for modules not available when performing a unit or integration test. After the functionality of these integrated components is tested, the drivers and stubs are discarded. Now we will have a look at the concept of stubs in detail. Stubs stimulate the interface by providing the appropriate values in the appropriate format as would be provided by the actual component being integrated. Stubs provide downstream connectivity. Stubs are required for top-down testing of incomplete systems. Here we have example of stubs. In the figure you can see upper module 9 which activates module 8 is available. It has been tested and corrected. Stubs are required to substitute for the subroutine level modules i.e. 1 and 2 which have not been completed yet. In this case, the basic units called utility modules are not developed yet, so you create dummy functions which return some hard-coded values. Drivers are used to provide upstream connectivity. A driver is a substitute module but of the upper level module that activates the module tested. The driver is passing the test data onto the tested module and accepting the results calculated by it, required in bottom-up testing until the upper level modules are developed. This is the example of drivers. In the figure you can see lower level modules 1 and 2 are available. They have been tested and corrected. A driver is required to substitute for upper level module 9 which has not been completed yet. In this case, utility modules are already developed but the statements calling these functions are missing. So you write the function calling statements and pass dummy values as function parameters and return the same dummy values calculated by the function. Bidirectional integration example. Here in the figure you can see bidirectional integration of 8 components. The table shows that at step 1, component 2 is integration tested with component 6. At step 2, component 3 and component 4 are integration tested with component 7. At step 3, component 5 is integration tested with component 8. The target layer is the middle layer. At the step 4, component 1 is integration tested with component 2 and 6, then components 7, 3 and 4, and then components 8 and 5. Bottom-up versus top-down strategies. Advantage of the bottom-up strategy is the relative ease of its performance. Disadvantage of the bottom-up strategy is the lateness at which the program as a whole can be observed. Advantage of the top-down strategy: the possibilities it offers to demonstrate the entire program functions shortly after the activation of upper-level modules has been completed. Early identification of analysis and design errors related to algorithms, functional requirements, and the like. Disadvantage of the top-down strategy: the relative difficulty of preparing the required steps, which often require very complicated programming. It is very difficult to analyze the results of the tests. It leaves utility modules until the end so that problems with these would not be detected early. If bottom-up integration is used, then these might be focused soon after the integration testing begins. When the lower layers are finally added, the upper layers may need to be retested. System integration. System testing enables us to test, verify, and validate both the business requirements and application architecture. Integration testing can be divided into components or subsystem integration and the final integration testing or system integration. Complete system integration is covered as the last step. This approach waits till all components arrive and one round of integration testing is done. This approach is called Big Bang integration. It reduces testing effort and removes duplication in testing. Disadvantages of system integration. When a failure or defect is encountered during system integration, it is very difficult to locate the problem. The ownership for correcting the root cause of the defect may be a difficult issue to pinpoint. When integration testing happens in the end, the pressure from approaching the release date is very high. A certain component may take an excessive amount of time to be ready. Then choosing integration method. Top-down approach is best suited for the waterfall and V model. Bottom-up approach is best suited for iterative and agile methodologies. The selection of integration approach needs to consider availability of components, technology used, process adopted, testing skills, and resource availability. Strategy chosen is actually determined in most cases by the developer's choice of development, not the test strategy, that is bottom up or top down. Testing will be performed immediately after a module has been coded. Implementation of a testing strategy that differs from the development strategy will cause substantial delays in scheduling of tests. You can see the reference of this topic is chapter 5 of the mentioned book. This is the end of the lecture. Take care. Allah Hafiz.